What's up, everybody?
George, you surprised me.
He does this every week. Good morning,
Buzz.
Morning,
it's not even
everybody.
that early in the morning, and we're all still like, George, don't do that. We're still too tired.
We're still too tired to do that.
I'm not.
Release this.
When I'm up, I am up.
It's true. George constantly runs at approximately 173%. I've gauged it.
Excuse me.
I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I keep going and going and going and going.
The human
So-
version of like an energy drink is George.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
green room is like my recharging station. If we had the chance to go back to the station, and all of a sudden, boom, I go back into the studio, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what's going on? Oh, hey, how you doing? But I'm at my home, and this is my own recharging station. So, yeah, welcome to the Morning Buzz, Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. My name is George, also known as George.
Hi,
My
I'm Leslie, also known as Leslie.
My name is Ryan. I think people just know me as Ryan and not also as Ryan. Who knows?
I'm pretty sure you're also Ryan.
Am I also known as Ryan?
Yes.
Am I the radio host formerly known as Ryan?
Yes.
You're also known as the
Is that-
assistant or the Morning Buzz director, which,
Exactly.
yeah.
You're
Today I'm just
You're
a newscaster.
hmm
I'm but a voice
just
to deliver
newscaster.
news.
Okay, anyways.
Speaking of
Today
news.
We'll be talking about the FCC to vote on a new suicide emergency number, the comeback of America's favorite spring sport, and the latest reopenings amid COVID-19. But first, here's Ryan, known as Ryan Trick, with his newscast. Take it away.
Thank you, Leslie. Well, in international news, scarce medical oxygen worldwide is leaving many around the world gasping for life, especially in places like Guinea, where a main hospital in the area is unable to repair their medical oxygen plant. The plant was a part of a hospital renovation funded by international donors who responded to the West African Ebola crisis back in 2014. However, the foreign technicians and supplies needed to complete the repairs are unable to get into the country due to Guinea's coronavirus lockdowns. According to AP News, as COVID-19 continues to spread, the demand for medical oxygen is bringing out a stark global truth. Even the right to breathe depends on money. In other international news, Americans are unlikely to be allowed into Europe when the continent reopens its borders next week due to how the coronavirus pandemic is flaring up in the US and President Donald Trump's ban on Europeans entering the United States. In recommendations to EU nations, the European Commission said, quote, travel restrictions should not be lifted for countries where the situation is worse, end quote, than the average in the 27 EU member countries plus Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Switzerland. That is likely to rule out the United States, where new coronavirus infections have surged to the highest level in 2 months, according to figures compiled by Johns Hopkins University. After trending down for well over a month, new U.S. cases have risen for more than a week. In U.S. news, President Donald Trump's brother, Robert Trump, is asking a New York City judge to prevent the president's niece from publishing a tell-all book about the family. Robert Trump argues that the publication of a book is prohibited by the settlement agreement reached back in 2001, and he never consented to it being published. According to AP News, a description of the book titled Too Much and Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man on Amazon says it describes, quote, a nightmare of traumas, destructive relationships, and a tragic combination of neglect and abuse, end quote. The motion seeks an injunction to prevent Mary Trump and the book's publisher, Simon & Schuster, from releasing it later this month. And in local news, 2 football players at Rutgers University have tested positive for COVID-19. Coach Greg Schiano said that both players and coaches were tested before the team's return on June 15th, using either a mail-in test or getting tested at a local clinic. The first positive test came in before the player returned to the field, and the player was forced to quarantine at home and not return to campus. The second positive, however, came from a sample taken after another player returned to the field, and they too were forced to self-isolate along with 3 other players whom they had come in contact with. And in weather, it is a beautiful sunny day outside here in Bernardsville, New Jersey. It's about 77 degrees out. Today, we're going to have a wonderful high of 84 and a low of 59 degrees with a 0% chance of rain. Tomorrow's looking like sunny skies with a high of 86 and a low of 61 with a 20% chance of rain. And then on Friday, we're going to wrap up the week with no clouds, high 86, low 63, and again, a 20% chance of rain. That's all from me. I'm going to throw it back to you guys, Leslie and George.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you very much. Do you want to talk, Leslie? Is you want to?
Now? Is it our turn?
Yes, I will give it back to you guys. I can just talk. I can just read the weather for the whole month if you want.
Like the whole month?
I'll read the weather for the whole month. That'll be the show.
Every single town in New Jersey for the entire month, and we can talk about that for the whole show.
And that'll just be the show. There's now the weather show.
I wouldn't listen to that show.
Featuring the artist formerly known as Ryan. Leslie, also known as Leslie. And George, 173% Jam Goshen.
If I had my lightsaber right now, I'd be known as Jedi George 173% Jam Goshen. But I don't at the moment. But hey,
Alas.
Yeah.
Jedi Goshen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Jedi George. Jedi Ocean.
I like that.
Proud of that one?
I like that, yeah. And I remember we were going over I was watching some old Morning Buzz shows recently, and I saw that we were arguing over who's better, wizard or Jedi, and I will always maintain to the day I die that Jedi, the Force will overtake anything, no comparison, end of story.
Wizards can freeze time. Anyways, what's the first story, George?
Well, I'm not George, but I'm
trying to force choke me through the computer.
Yeah, it's not working. All right, anyway. Here we go. So talking about food. Yeah.
Food. I haven't had breakfast, so I'm pretty hungry, so I'm excited. Anyways. So there's this article that came out that describes every state's favorite fast food joint during the coronavirus. So the coronavirus has taken away the privilege of dining in our favorite restaurants, but plenty of Americans took to their cars, put on some masks, and pulled up to the drive-thru of fast food joints for a quick meal. In the midst of the "May I Take Your Order" recitals and limited menu options, food website The Daily Meal has made a list of the most popular fast food restaurants during quarantine in the continental 48 states. When the coronavirus turned the restaurant industry upside down, diners turned to delivery and takeout from local shops, but also fast food joints. From the time COVID-19 began to rapidly spread in March, one chain in particular saw a steady incline in traffic because of its 1950s-style car hop service. Here's the lowdown on where each state is in the contiguous United States is getting greasy eats during the pandemic. George?
Okay, so here's what happened. So here's how they did it. Market research company Top Data analyzed the year-over-year average percent change in the number of visits experienced by each fast food restaurant chain. This particular data set compares June 2019 to June 2020. Alaska and Hawaii were not included. So 14 states had Sonic, 9 said Wendy's, including New Jersey, 9 said Taco Bell, 8 said McDonald's, 5 said Chick-fil-A, 2 said Culver's, which is a Midwestern joint, and 1 said Popeyes. So,
What's the Culver's?
Culver's is like...
What the heck is that?
I don't know. I mean, you can get your burgers and your tenders from it. It's like, I was looking at the website last night, and I was seeing what's on there. It's like, I don't know. At the most, it's kind of like a Checkers or a Jack in the Box where it has the same kind of food,
Okay, when I go on their website, the first thing I see is milkshakes, so I'm already intrigued.
Yes.
So
Culver's is a casual fast food restaurant chain that operates primarily in the Midwestern U.S. Yeah. They have frozen custard, butter burgers, and cheese curds.
Did you say butter burgers? What's
butter burgers?
It's like butter beer, but for a burger.
Burgers.
Yeah.
My friend once told me you can sum up culinary school in 3 words. I added butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just add butter. a new novel written by George M. Gochin. Just said butter.
That's
Oh,
it.
do you guys,
What's that?
I was gonna say, do you guys agree with like the rest of New Jersey, where like apparently a lot of people in New Jersey like Wendy's, because Wendy's is like my favorite fast food restaurant. If I'm gonna get fast food, I'm probably gonna go there. What do you guys think? What's your favorite?
I had a really weird dream last night where I worked at a Wendy's and my friend was training me at the drive-thru. I have no idea if this is relevant. However, that was my dream last night. That said, I'm not a fan of Wendy's, so I don't know why in my dream I decided to work there. Um,
You needed the money.
I'm blown
$40
away that
a day.
McDonald's is that low. They're like usually considered like the dominant fast food place. There's like a McDonald's everywhere.
Yeah.
You could spit in any direction and it would hit a McDonald's parking lot. So I'm actually surprised that it's that low. Sonic though, I'm not surprised it's number one. I will admit.
Probably because they're the most convenient. You just sit in your car and you
I
don't even
think-
have to go up through a drive-through. I
I-
hate drive-through.
Yeah, I think that's why Sonic is actually up there, is because it gives people some semblance of eating out. Because the whole Sonic thing is you go and you eat in your car. I mean, I remember we have a Sonic by Montclair State, and I'll be honest, it's not the best. The service is probably 50 times slower than any other Sonic I've ever been to. But it's still great to go with your friends at 1 a.m. and pile in a car and just order like 7 burgers and 10 pounds of fries and milkshakes and the whole deal. So I'm actually not surprised Sonic is that high up there. But George, what do you think? What's your favorite fast food that you've
Well,
been
you know
having?
what? I mean, I do see why Wendy's was voted number one in New Jersey. The only problem is, like, the nearest Wendy's is like maybe 15 minutes from my house, so I don't want to take a hike there. And the only thing is, I love Wendy's, and I love going there. I love their chicken nuggets, and I love their spicy wraps, and I love their fries especially. It's just I don't have it that much. If anything, I have McDonald's and Burger King the most, and Burger King's not even on the list. So
That's true. Yeah, Burger King. I'm as bad as it sounds. I'm not surprised it's not on the list.
it's not. No.
I've always felt Burger King is like there's no McDonald's around. I guess we'll go to Burger King. but
Mhm.
Yeah. Nothing special.
yeah.
Yeah, and I have a story to tell. So, I'm not sure if this is what happens with you guys, but I think with your dad, if they'd be the ones that'll nudge you and say, "Hey, let's go out of the house and let's not tell mom, and let's go get something to eat." So,
Yeah.
my dad a while back he said, "Hey, I'm gonna hey Kim, which is my mom's name,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna take George to the store." And so we climb into the car, we look at each other, we laugh, and then we drive straight to Burger King.
That's
we-
awesome.
We sneak out and we get a great meal there. So yeah, I
That's
mean,
awesome.
very father move there, very dad move, I would say.
Yeah. So I can kind of relate to that. So my parents were divorced for a long time, but when I would stay at my mom's house over the summer, normally when you're a kid and it's summer, you try and sleep in. Well, my mom would always get me up early because Taco Bell has breakfast, and they got some pretty banging breakfast, in my opinion. So she would wake me up, and we would go get Taco Bell breakfast, just like in our sweatpants, and then bring it back home. And so I've always enjoyed a good bit of Taco Bell, which I have been craving recently, and there is no Taco Bell near Bernardsville, New Jersey. This is a problem that must be fixed. But I don't know. This just in. Annabella's favorite fast food is the Olive Garden. I don't think that's fast food, but close enough.
It's good.
It is good. Olive Garden breadsticks or Red Lobster cheddar biscuits. This is not an opinion question. There's a correct answer.
You know what? I
Oh.
have to. I hate to be that guy, but hot take: the best Italian food you're gonna get is from your local pizzeria or your local
yeah.
Italian place. It's
Easy.
No, that's wrong.
what?
The
What?
best Italian food you're gonna get is from my mom.
Oh.
She's 100% Italian.
Leslie
okay?
came in hot with that one. She's like, no,
I literally
false.
like the only whenever we order Italian food, like it's always good, but like I always have to compare it to my mom's food, and like it's just never like as good. even if
Yeah.
it's like really good. Pizza, yes. Pizza, taking out pizza, great. We
Yeah.
can't make pizza, but
Mhm.
like meatballs,
Yeah.
sauce.
Oh yeah. I will
Uh,
admit I completely ruined Italian food for myself for the rest of my life. Ever since I actually went to Italy and had
Oh,
this awesome seafood spaghetti right on the Cinque Terre, right on the water, and it was like, and I'm not a huge fan of seafood. It was mind-blowingly good, and then just Italian street food and handmade gelato. I mean, the whole thing. I've ruined Italian food for me. So
it's one of my life goals to go to Italy and just eat.
it's good. They do a lot of it.
Oh,
They do a lot of it, and that's not a bad thing whatsoever. They don't
yeah.
have, or at least where I went, not a lot of fast food though. So I don't know. Maybe I went to touristy places.
their food's too good for fast food.
I think
They
so.
wouldn't make
Yeah.
any money if they opened a McDonald's on the corner of, I don't know. Like,
On the
Like
like, they opened a McDonald's
pizza.
right on the water of the Cinque Terre. You have beautiful
that would work.
homes, rocky cliffs, the ocean, nice family restaurants, and a McDonald's. Yeah, it wouldn't exactly be a fitting location, I think. But
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I also, as we get some more words from Annabelle about having fish and chips in London, which is really cool. I always wanted to go to England and actually try that out because, like, I'm not a seafood person in general, but when you go to England, you got to have fish and chips.
yeah,
So, yeah,
exactly. Chips in England being fries,
yes,
of
of
course.
course.
Mm.
So,
Well, my grandparents are obsessed with fish and chips, and because
oh
they're from
really?
Scotland, and like it just sounds so unappealing to me. So I never try it, but like they swear by it, and I have to just try it someday, like authentic in the UK, maybe one day, but I still
Maybe
don't
one
want to.
day. We'll take a
I
WMSC hits the UK for some fish and chips.
Can we actually do that
Something
if our
like that.
budget's big enough?
I
Or
don't think our budget will be big enough, but if it is, that would be awesome. You'll be
That'd
the
be so-
first. You two will be the first people I invite. Morning
well,
Buzz live from London. We'll have to do it at a ridiculous time so that it fits the US time frame. But anyways,
oh, live from Abbey Road, right? That would be the perfect show for any kind of Beatles fan that, like, we get Rob Quick from from William Patterson to hop on with us.
oh yeah,
Like, that would be perfect. But
absolutely.
how about live from Montclair, where we go to Cuban Pete's or stuffed grass-fed burgers, or somewhere
Oh,
local.
you're making me miss food. That is, I guess I will. One of the last things I'll say is like that is probably the biggest thing that I do miss about quarantine. Even though there's outdoor dining and whatnot now, I do miss just walking around downtown Montclair, finding just a good place to eat, whether it be Cuban Pete's or oh, I forget the name of this one kind of diner style place right
TikTok
by that
diner.
Starbucks near Cuban Pete's. What's that?
TikTok diner. It's the only
No,
diner
not
I know.
TikTok Diner. I can't remember the name of the place, or like the Bear Burger or something. I do
Oh
miss
yeah.
walking around there, but hey, hopefully we will be back. My idea for for the morning or WMSC live from Ren Fair is officially canceled for this year though, as Ren Fair got canceled. So we can't do food from Ren Fair, sadly.
Mhm.
But
I
perhaps
mean,
we can do food from Sonic. WMSC live from Sonic.
Sonic,
That would
I've
be
always had a good experience with Sonic. They never let me down yet. So
There you go.
yeah, yeah, totally. So you guys want to move on to the next story?
Yeah, I mean
Sure.
this next one is very important.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm actually weirdly excited for this.
Intriguing story from food to FCC. The FCC is to vote in July to make 988 the suicide hotline number. So, federal regulators will vote in July on whether to make 988 the number to reach a suicide prevention hotline. The Federal Communications Commission says phone service providers will have until July 2022 to implement the new number if the measure is approved in July as expected. Once it's in place, people will be able to dial 988 to seek help, like how you would call 911 for an emergency. Currently, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline uses a 10-digit number, 800-273-TALK, which routes calls to about 170 crisis centers.
That 800 number will remain in place, but having the shorter number makes it easier for people to call and is expected to lead to an increase in calls to the hotline. Suicide prevention experts have said that the three-digit number will be a breakthrough that helps people in crisis. One aspect of designating a three-digit number for the hotline, just like 911 for emergencies, is that it removes stigma for seeking help in a mental health emergency, they say. The government's action comes as suicide rates have increased across the U.S. over the past 2 decades. The coronavirus pandemic has put even more strain on the nation's mental health care system, and experts have been concerned about the impact as the virus and its aftershocks may deepen people's levels of anxiety and depression. Look, straight up.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's very important. I mean, I as someone that does struggle with anxiety and all that stuff, you know, it's close to home. So it's good that they're looking at something like this.
I think it's like a progressive change. Like in the article said, it's like definitely like decreases stigma. Like we have its own if we have our own 3-digit lifeline for it, it's like not like we should normalize like suicide in of itself. Like, you know, we should strive to diminish those issues that are often overlooked. But, you know, we should be more open to people, you know, having mental health crises because it's more common than I think most people would know.
Yeah,
And
I
especially
mean,
with all this going on.
you know, I will admit, as someone who has called the hotline before, it is like when you're in that kind of panicked state of maybe doing something that you would regret, it's it's challenging to look up and, you know, if you don't know the hotline immediately, I think it should be as common as 911 because it is an emergency. You know, if you're having a mental health emergency, that's really what it is. And you're right. I think it's good. This will bring more light to issues like that and maybe not normalize it, but I feel like people shouldn't be, you know, as afraid to talk about this kind of stuff. It's like, it's real. It happens, you know, to people. And yeah, I mean, particularly in this scenario, where people are either living alone or, you know, unable to receive like that love and care from their friends and family and whatnot because you can't see them. Um, I mean, we have been seeing a decline in just the general mental health, and I think this is going to be awesome. I really hope it goes through. I'd be shocked if it didn't, and I'd be the first person to report on it too.
Yeah, I would be like thoroughly disappointed if they voted against it because it just the whole thing is like, why not though? Like, why, like, do people not see suicidal thoughts as an emergency? It is an emergency. Like, someone's life is in danger. Like, you know, it's like the same thing as if you were having some other like
crisis
emergency.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a 911 for emergencies, there should be, you know, a hotline for mental emergencies.
Yeah,
I think they're just as important.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I actually George, you here typed something about smartphones.
Yeah.
Stuff.
You know, just wondering if smartphones will have that as another slide button. You know how on your phone you have.
Oh. Yeah.
And you know,
That's
so
smart.
it could, you know, the one to turn your phone off and the second one for 911, and then they both slide to the right, and that could be easily mistaken. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if you're in that state of crisis, I think definitely it should be on there because, you know, it has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that if it is a hotline like that, that would be perfect for smartphones because again, it's like an ease of access thing. You know, if you're having a mental crisis, if you're having a mental breakdown, it's hard to process thoughts sometimes. So I think just that quick slide of like, you know, there it is. Exactly. I do think that'll really help.
I can't imagine being in a mental crisis, questioning my own life and thinking about like a 10-digit number to dial. Like
It's difficult.
like no,
Yeah.
like I would not have the capacity to deal with that. I would just be like, forget it. I don't care about that, because you're in that state. You're not gonna. It's just like you're not going to care, if that makes sense. And
Yeah, I will admit in my situation it was very difficult to try and like just bring myself to like Google it, because I mean it's like it's hard to just do anything when you're thinking about that, and much less like, oh, I can't, it's easy to remember 911. It's hard to remember a 10-digit number that you've never called before and never even thought about calling before until that point,
And I feel like the fact that it's such a long number feels like daunting, and I can't really explain why. But like if it's like 3 numbers, like boop boop boop, then you're like, oh, that was
Yeah,
easy. But
it's
like,
just
that's like,
having that gut reaction. If you're in a normal emergency, having that gut reaction, call 911. It's so easy. I think if this goes through, people can start having that gut reaction of mental emergency, call 988. I believe that's the number, right? That they're
Yeah.
trying to change to. Yeah,
think so.
call 988. Easy. It's that fast.
Boom.
So
Yeah,
I think this is. I hope this goes through. Oh.
Yeah, because the last hotline number was 1-800, and it was a long combination. So I think just keeping it short, 988, that would just be perfect for someone that's in need of something like that.
And they tried to make it simple. I will, like, we're not saying like it's a useless number. I mean, they did try to make it simple. It's 800-273-TALK. So 800-273-8255. And, obviously I cannot emphasize enough, if you are feeling those kinds of thoughts and you are in that state, it's, you're not alone. Call the hotline, all the cheesy stuff you hear on TV, just call it.
If you're not comfortable talking, there's a crisis text line.
There is, yeah.
Like if you're more comfortable like texting someone, then text. You don't have to call. Or also something I want to bring up is like with mental health can come physical things too. So when you're in a mental state, you might feel physically ill, or you might your body might just be like shutting down, like your brain shutting down, so your muscles might not be working. It might be harder to type, little stuff like that I don't think a lot of people know about. So it's like looking up the number on Google and then typing all those numbers in, like
it
can be harder than
a lot of effort.
It's a lot of effort. I hope that the people voting on this are educated in the topic,
right,
at the very least. But
FCC chairman Ajit Pai actually said that, quote, more than 20 veterans die by suicide every day, and more than 500,000 LGBTQ plus youth will attempt suicide this year alone, and a shorter, simpler suicide hotline number could be a game changer, end quote. Which is true. I believe it would be a game changer. And it's just hard reading those statistics,
I know. It leaves me speechless, because it's like you want to like help people and solve all these huge issues in the world, but like
yeah,
it's a lot.
And
I wish people.
I'm sorry.
What were you gonna say?
No.
I was just gonna say, like, I wish people didn't have to feel that way. Like, I wish like these things weren't even issues, but like that's unavoidable, and that's just how life works sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And Vibrant Emotional Health, which runs the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, said a dedicated number will also reduce the burden of local 911 centers, freeing up life-saving and crime-fighting resources, which makes sense, and it's very reasonable. And
definitely. And of course, as we said, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number right now is 800-273-TALK, or that's 800-273-8255. Callers are routed to one of 163 crisis centers, where counselors answered 2.2 million calls last year, which is awesome, but I simultaneously think that I wish that number was higher. As high as that number is, I know it can be higher, and I think, personally, my personal opinion, I think that changing it to a 988, just quick, easy number, could raise that statistic. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Now,
You guys want to lighten up the mood now?
oh yeah, George, it's that time of year again, and it's finally coming back.
Happening. It's finally happening. We're finally here. Major League Baseball has officially announced a plan to return to play that features players reporting for training by July 1st, leading up to a 60-game regular season anticipated to begin on July 23rd or 24th. MLB has submitted to the Players Association a schedule that is designed to mitigate travel. Each team's schedule will largely feature divisional play, with the remaining contests coming against interleague opponents in the corresponding regional division, which is the American League East versus the National League East, AL Central versus NL Central, and AL West versus NL West. For the first time ever, the designated hitter will be featured in the National League as part of the health and safety protocols being put in place for the 2020 season.
As for the 3-week training programs, the majority of clubs are expected to conduct the workouts at their home ballparks. MLB is working with a variety of public health experts, infectious disease specialists, and technology providers on a comprehensive approach that aims to facilitate a safe return. Commissioner Robert Manfred said, quote, "Major League Baseball is thrilled to announce that the 2020 season is on the horizon. We've provided the Players Association with a schedule to play 60 games and are excited to provide our great fans with baseball again soon," end quote. And there'll be even more stuff, coming back besides baseball. Because of, we're lifting restrictions on rides and water parks, playgrounds, and reopenings.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that. Amusement and water parks, along with playgrounds across New Jersey, can reopen July 2nd, aka my birthday. Just gonna slide that in there. From the COVID-19 pause. Governor Phil Murphy announced yesterday, the parks must limit capacity to 50% and face masks must be worn by workers and attendees where practicable. The announcement includes rides at shore resorts too. The state reported nearly 400 new cases since Monday for a total of 169,000 positive cases. There were 57 more deaths reported since Monday, putting the overall death toll at 12,949. The new openings come just a day after the governor said casinos and indoor dining could also restart on July 2nd, but at 25% capacity. The state is in stage 2 of 3 of reopening from the virus.
Salons, barbershops, and tattoo and massage parlors are also reopening this week. For most people, the virus causes mild or moderate symptoms. Older adults and people with existing health problems are at higher risk of more severe illness or death. Murphy's administration and the Communications Workers of America, which represents about 32,000 state workers, reached a deal to furlough employees instead of laying them off. Murphy declined to offer any details about the agreement, saying workers still needed to ratify the deal. The state's budget faces a $10 billion hole over the current and next fiscal years. So how do you think people will feel about going to a park where you are sitting on rides where other riders are and hang on to the harness for dear life? Like, that's a little awkward because, you're there and you're not social distancing and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? We're on a ride.
You're like sweating and grabbing the harness and
feels like a germ fest.
Exactly, it does.
It's gross.
It really does sound like a germ fest. I don't think there's a better way to put it. I mean, it's so weird too to see like, so here, I guess you would have to sanitize the ride like every time a group left, but
I guess so.
Then that just backs up like the line and everything and makes everything even harder.
But if they're at like 20, well, no, there'll be 50% capacity, then there's less people waiting anyways. But
That's
then it
true.
would just double the time. Also,
right?
like, I feel like it takes a long time to get like a new group on a ride. Like it takes long, like just normally. Can I make a reference?
Sure.
I want to say no to this.
What's the reference?
It's this to Hamilton because we're talking about Hamilton later. Say no to this is a song. I want to say no to this reopening because it sounds gross.
Yeah. I mean,
And as much, I love like outdoor stuff too.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I
And
would
with
do them for
summer
my
coming,
birthday.
like we've been seeing a lot of this stuff happen, you know?
Yeah.
With summer
Normally,
coming, a lot of people are wanting to go outside and go to parks.
think if I was 5 years younger, I'd be like really excited to like, yay, everything's reopening for my birthday, yay! But now I'm like older and I'm like, I still love this stuff because I have like that childishness inside me. Like I love this stuff, but I don't. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not for it. It feels gross.
Now, George.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna I keep cutting everyone.
Oh, it's okay.
I feel like going to an amusement park just on a regular day, no worldwide pandemic going on, there is like a high risk amount of like germs because everyone is sweating on stuff, like, and you don't know where people have been, you don't know what they're up to, and you're touching all the same stuff. And so even on a normal day, it's just
and now especially with the virus. But so George, I actually had a question for you. So, you know, growing up, I'm a fan of going to like pubs and taverns and whatever with my dad, and I'm not a huge sports guy, but just sitting down and, you know, having some apps, maybe a drink and watching some sports. How do you feel that now we both have baseball coming back and outdoor dining? I think that combination is nice. I don't know how I feel about the amusement parks and whatnot, but I do enjoy the combination to bring back a huge chunk of what I think is just like American culture. I mean,
Right.
going out to a restaurant or a sports bar, you know, and seeing sports. My dad has just been playing the Golf Channel because they're doing reruns of like old golf tournaments for like
Yeah.
months. So it's nice to see some new sports.
Oh my gosh, totally. And I mean, the thing is, going back to baseball really quickly. Like, it's coming back, but at a really huge cost, and like, they waited way too long because baseball could have been the first sport back, and it could have been everyone's a baseball fan again. And I can go on and on about this. It was at a really big cost because the players and the owners don't agree, and everyone's fighting, and Rob Manfred is the speaker for the owners. And I mean, if I had my show in foul territory with Anthony Paradiso and John Coachman, I'd talk about it with them, and I'd rant, and I'd be angry, and I'd blame the government and the big people and the man that's holding us down. And it just really, I mean, baseball was supposed to be the one sport that's supposed to come back for the summer and say, oh, look, everyone's going to be a baseball fan again. Play ball.
But George, you have Korean baseball. It's on at like 3 a.m. I know because I don't sleep, and they have cardboard cutouts of fans, and it's weird.
I did watch Korean baseball, but look, I wanted to see Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres hit some home runs. And as much as I respect the Korean baseball organization for stepping up, and look, do you see what's on my room in the background? Do you see all the stuff that I have saved and scavenged all my life? I'm a Yankee fan, and Rob Manfred, you've done goofed.
Oh, welcome to Rants with George. No, it's true though. Like
Ryan, but we're taking a.
I know, George. The bit is gone. It's moved to Rants with George from Rants with Ryan.
Rants with Ryan flows off the tongue more, but I like George. George's right.
Yeah, no, it's true though. Like I'm glad that at least it's finally coming back though, right? Like I'm a huge esports guy, and esports never went away, but that's because you don't always need a stadium for esports. You do esports like online with dedicated servers. My friend is actually on the Montclair esports team, and they didn't miss a beat for COVID. Lockdown happened next week, they still had practice, so but I think it's awesome to see sports and other stuff coming back. I still don't think I'm going to get a tattoo anytime soon, but
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
The only thing is, like, oh my God, what was I going to say? Oh my gosh. Well, I lost my train of thought. About esports. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, would you consider Rocket League and the maps in Halo and GTA to be so-called arenas because you're playing in a place and
Yeah,
everyone's watching you.
yeah,
So,
yeah, easily.
mhm.
Definitely. I mean, that's how a lot of esports work is they're streamed on Twitch. So the arena that people can watch is from the comfort of their computer or I don't know, smartphone or TV or whatever. Um, yeah, which I think is the benefit of esports. But hey, I was hoping that we'd get a lot more esports coverage and news during the pandemic. Sadly, we're still creeping up there in the world of sports. We're not quite up there yet, but it is good to see that I guess you could say America's favorite spring pastime is coming back.
Yeah, and also I am also looking forward to the rides, of course. If everything goes well, everything is taken seriously, then I will be looking forward to going on Kingda Ka and all the other rides like Starship 2000 and Moby Dick and all the rides that you'll see at like a little amusement park on the boardwalk. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Now you know what else is coming back. How do you how do you go with all these things opening? I'm a huge music guy. I'm not
Not
seeing
that
any
radio
concerts
show.
opening anytime soon, and I don't think I would go to a concert anytime soon. But they're doing drive-in concerts.
Hmm.
What's with that?
So how exactly would you like mosh? Would you
I
be
don't
like
know.
that demolition derby to Metallica, like everyone's driving and everyone's flipping their cars and
Oh, I already totaled my car once this summer. I really hope not. But like,
I
Oh,
I
Ryan, we all remember that.
we all remember that day, yeah.
live on the morning buzz, we reported on my car being totaled. Um, but no, it's weird. So I don't know. Ex- Explain to me how this Live Nation drive-in thing is happening, George.
Well, I'd love to, Ryan. Thank you for suggesting this for me. According to the Associated Press, tour promoter Live Nation has announced its first ever drive-in concert series in the U.S. for July, months after the live music industry has been on lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. The entertainment company on Monday announced live from the drive-in a set of 9 shows to take place July 10th and 12th in Nashville, Tennessee, Maryland Heights, Missouri, and Noblesville, Indiana. Grammy-winning singer Brad Paisley will headline shows in all three cities, while fellow country artist Darius Rucker, Rock Me Mama Like a Wagon Wheel, and John Party will also perform in Nashville and Nissan Stadium. Nelly will perform in Maryland Heights near St. Louis. And of course, country, one of the most successful genres of our time, has found a way to do this.
Concert goers will be able to drive into the parking lots of the amphitheaters, a maximum of 4 people per car, and will have 2 empty parking lot spaces in between each vehicle so fans can watch the party from their designated individual tailgating zones. Attendees are encouraged to bring food, drinks, and chairs, setting up around their cars to view the performers from the stage and also from the large LED screens. It's basically a concert and tailgating party all at once. All
Yes.
venue staff it sounds exciting. All venue and staff, though, are required to wear masks, and Live Nation requests that attendees wear masks upon arrival, where there will be contactless ticket scanning through their windows. Masks are not required once fans are in their designated tailgate areas, and Live Nation is not requiring the fans to wear gloves. Tom C., the president of Live Nation Venues US Concerts, said the company spent months working to find a safe, enjoyable way to put on live shows during the pandemic. C commented, quote, "It was really important to us to just not do one and be done. It wouldn't be Live Nation. It wouldn't be the concert industry leader. We wanted to make a bigger statement," end quote.
Nelly, who is celebrating the 20th anniversary of his debut album Country Grammar, and Pink Floyd tribute band El Monstero are both from St. Louis and will perform at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Party and rock band Yacht Rock Review will headline at the Ruoff Music Center near Indianapolis. Tickets will go on sale for the general public on Friday. C said tickets prices will fluctuate by market, but it can be as low as $125, which is roughly $31 per person if the maximum number of 4 attendees per car attend.
That's pretty good.
That's
Mhm.
amazing.
31 bucks a person for a concert. That's pretty sweet.
I would do it.
That's what all gigs for tickets should cost.
Yeah.
That would be like I as much as I wanted to see someone like I don't know, some of the high class classic rock artists like Elton John or Paul McCartney, like their ticket prices are way too
Oh,
expensive.
crazy! It's like $500 for nosebleed seats in some
Yeah.
of their concerts. Now I go to a lot of I try to go to like a lot of punk concerts. I'm a huge punk and alt rock fan, and some of those kind of just like chill underground, venues that they have. The tickets aren't crazy expensive, but I think this is awesome because I actually went to a drive-in movie over quarantine and I loved it way more than I thought I would, to be totally honest. It was awesome. It was novel. It was fun to see like everybody just chilling in their cars. And it was just fun. So I think this is actually going to be hopefully pretty successful too.
Right, and for the Missouri show, keep in mind that they said that they have a capacity to fit 1,000 cars while incorporating social distancing guidelines. Try and say that 10 times fast. Grills and barbecue pits are not permitted, but concert goers can bring pre-cooked foods and drinks, including alcohol. Live Nation encourages that groups assign a designated driver, because when you demolition derby in the mosh pit, you want to be sure that you're not doing it under the influence.
Yes, you want to drink responsibly.
You want to crash your cars responsibly. Actually, no, do not crash your cars responsibly. Don't do that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
No.
But like, it's if you're gonna crash your car, at least be the designated sober driver who does it. In the mosh pit of cars. We gotta get off this line of jokes.
But I was driving on the highway yesterday, and like the sign said, "Going outside, mask up. Driving, like." What was it?
Oh, drive. It's like, yeah, it says drive or going out to drive, buckle up. Going out, mask up.
Buckle up.
Yeah, it's like
buckle up.
Yeah, it's like driving, buckle up. Going out, mask up. Yeah, because that's the whole New Jersey thing: click it or ticket.
Yeah.
So, no, this is that. It's gonna be so weird though, right? So like, how's it gonna work for like front rows, or I don't know, like back row? What if you're stuck behind a huge pickup truck? That wouldn't be great.
Oh, that would.
Maybe they're gonna be like staggered in kind of the way, but
I feel like maybe is it like, since if all the tickets are the same price, maybe it's like first come first serve. Like if you get there first, you would just pick which section you want.
yeah.
I don't know if they're reserved or not, but like that seems like a system that would work. You really want that front row seat, you get there early.
The front
Exactly,
row,
you get there super
front row
early.
parking space, which is something I never thought I'd say in my life.
Yeah. And like restrooms too. That's gonna be a little weird.
Ooh.
Yeah, how are you gonna do that? But anyways, the part that blows me away is the fact that C said that they have a capacity to fit 1,000 cars while
That's so
incorporating
cool.
social distancing. That's a huge concert. 1,000 cars, because you have a car and then the tailgate space. Anyways,
Yeah.
Anyways, in case you don't find your car very comfortable, maybe you find your couch a little more comfortable.
segues are fire.
Good segue, Leslie. You should be.
You know what else is fire, along with the segues? The bars from
Hamilton.
There it is.
So we're gonna see Hamilton July 3rd on Disney Plus because it's now in movie form. We're playing the trailer right now for those of you who are viewing, but in the meantime, so Broadway fans who couldn't get tickets for Hamilton will soon be able to watch one of its many sold-out performances from the comfort of their homes. A film version of the Pulitzer Prize-winning musical created by Lin-Manuel Miranda is set to premiere on the streaming service Disney Plus on July 3rd. The 60-second trailer, which we're playing right now, was released on Sunday. It shows a montage of scenes from the critically acclaimed drama, set to a mashup of the show's opening number, Alexander Hamilton, and the other song, Satisfied. It highlights Miranda in the lead role and also introduces other members of the original cast, including Daveed Diggs, Philippa Soh, Jonathan Groff, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Christopher Jackson, Jasmine Cephas-Jones, Anthony Ramos, and more. The Hamilton movie was originally scheduled to arrive in cinemas in October 2021, but the studio opted to release the film early on its subscription streaming service amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Hamilton, which burst into theaters in 2015, tells the story of U.S. founding father Alexander Hamilton and touches on themes including immigration, the War of Independence, and America's financial system. It won the 2016 Pulitzer Prize for Drama and has earned 11 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. In May, cast member Daveed Diggs, who portrays Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson in the production, admitted he was terrified about the musical being released on Disney+. Diggs admitted, quote, "I've never seen myself do that, and it's still the thing that most people talk to me about that I've done. One of the only reasons I can stand that kind of attention is that I haven't seen it. At some point, I'm going to be forced to watch it and actually deal with my own feelings about this, and so that is complicated for me," end quote. So that makes sense as someone that also has performed in theater club, and watching yourself perform on camera for the first time, you're like, oh, do I really want to watch this? But
Yeah.
That's gotta be nerve-wracking, for sure.
It's weird. It's kind of like hearing your voice, I guess, in radio, or seeing ourselves on YouTube or Facebook. There's the plug. It's like it's just weird for people who aren't like in the media or entertainment industry. It's very weird going back and watching
Mhm.
yourself do something, or listening to yourself say do a show. The first time I ever listened to myself do a radio show, I was cringing like you would not believe. It is freaky to like hear yourself. So
Oh,
even
yeah.
for a guy this famous, I can understand the feeling,
Yeah, it's gotta be weird, especially since okay, so I feel like if you're like an actor or actress who you're on the screen all the time, you're meant to be recorded. But if you've been doing like theater and Broadway your whole life, you're not used to being able to watch it back because it's
Yeah.
normally just a live performance. That's it. You never see yourself. So now he has to face this, and I guess I was like, wow, so many people love Daveed Diggs, and I do too. He's awesome, but because he's phenomenal. But I guess you wouldn't think someone who's so idolized and talented would be insecure about something like this. But I mean, it makes sense because that's just how this industry is sometimes. But
Yeah,
I'm very
exactly.
excited. So excited.
We were literally talking about this before the show started too. And I remember I was watching Hulu last night and I saw the trailer come up on Hulu. So it's just funny to see it's cool, man. I think it's really fun. Now, George, you and I feel like are on the same page though when it comes to Hamilton.
You know what? Hot take. Get ready for this, Leslie. I know you were in theater club in high school, and so was I. But
Yeah.
when Hamilton came out, as Ryan is taking a,
I'm sinking because I know what you're about to say, and I kind of agree with you.
yeah. As much as I hate to say it and be that guy, Hamilton makes me sick.
Overhyped sometimes.
It's overhyped. And look,
True.
when I was in the theater club, all they would play during the rehearsals would be the Hamilton soundtrack, and I just got sick of it instantly. Yeah. Everything. Oh yeah, the song about when Aaron Burr shoots her. No, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, no, it's true. So here's the thing. I'm a sucker for good soundtracks when it comes to movies, Broadway, whatever. I'm a sucker for good soundtracks, and the Hamilton soundtrack is, in my opinion, really well written and just really unique when it comes to Broadway music, and it's really good. However, I'm on the same boat with you, George. I do feel like it's overplayed a lot. Mm-hmm. That said, Leslie, I am also kind of excited for this to come out because I have never seen Hamilton and I've wanted to. I thought about seeing it when it was coming out and all the hype was, there. And then I looked at the ticket prices and they were crazy for the longest time. I mean, you needed to win the lottery to get, to afford a ticket. But
yeah, when I was in high school, my dad knew that I liked Hamilton because me and a few people I knew just really liked it, would listen to it sometimes. He was like, "Oh yeah, Leslie, I looked up the prices for Hamilton tickets. I was thinking about taking you. We're not doing that." And I was like, "Oh, I would have never asked you to take me. Literally never. So listening expensive. To it is good enough for me. Now that there's a movie, that makes me very happy."
Yeah, it's the day after your birthday. Happy birthday, Leslie. Here's Hamilton. There you go.
from Disney. Thank you.
You can
Disney.
tell your dad that you guys can finally go see Hamilton for your birthday. The comfort
Literally.
of your couch.
Do you already have Disney Plus or?
I do, but for some reason it just never works in my house. So I have to like call someone and get that fixed because I don't know what's wrong with my TV because everything else works in my house, but Disney Plus is like, nope.
Weird.
I don't know.
I guess one last little interesting tidbit. Lin-Manuel Miranda actually said that the film version of Hamilton Broadway play set to release on Disney Plus will be censored a little bit because they do drop the F-bomb in the play, and they kind of, him and his team had to figure out a way to eliminate it. Actually, sorry, it said 3 times throughout the production. So they kind of had to figure out a weird way to eliminate it during for its release on Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is,
Mostly
is
for
family friendly. So fair warning to any families who want to go out there and watch it. The film adaptation does have 1 F-bomb in it.
Just one. Not bad.
Just 1, not bad.
No.
Now,
the F-bombs in Hamilton are very well placed and very funny to me, though.
they are.
It's not excessive. They seem good.
Yeah.
We got one last little story to cheer y'all up.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little happy story that I found.
Yes, Ryan, if you want to talk about it.
I will gladly. So for those of you who are listening, you can always check us out live on Facebook around this time, or you can check the recordings afterwards on Facebook and on YouTube. That said, if you are interested, I'm going to have Annabella pull up the images from this story. Plastic may be able to keep the virus from spreading, but it can't keep couples in Spain nursing homes from sharing their love for each other. The visuals, I will describe them, is a nursing home in Spain basically set up a plastic wrap wall with armholes kind of cut out so that elderly couples could wear masks and kind of plastic sleeves so that they can hug each other and kiss each other through plastic and masks, and still share their love for each other without risking spreading the virus as much. As we know, this pandemic has really hit nursing homes very hard, and it's hard for couples who've been together for a majority of their life, who might be in nursing homes, or couples maybe who met in nursing homes. And if you are interested, you can find these images on AP News. Personally, they made not my day, but these images like made my week. They remind me of my great grandparents and how much they loved each other. And it's so awesome to see just lifelong friends and couples being able to hug each other and look at each other close up without being as much at risk for spreading the virus. It's awesome.
Beautiful.
It reminds me of my grandparents too. I mean, just straight up, like my grandparents have been together almost for 67 years. They're going on their 67th year together, so it really means a lot. And it just reminds you of all the things that are going on during quarantine. So
yeah. So again, you can find this story on AP News, and there are a lot of pictures you can check out. I think there are over 10 pictures that are all beautifully taken, and they really will warm your heart. So just to end on a little happy, positive note, maybe give you something good for your day or for your week. For me, it made my week. I love finding little stories like that.
That's great. Ryan, you're such a beam of optimism that we all should aspire to be like in the station. You were like,
oh, I try.
Ryan
it's the caffeine. That's all it is.
As you drink water.
As a drink, I ran out of tea halfway through the show. It's a problem.
Halfway
I need
through.
more. But yeah, halfway through the show, I ran out of my second cup of tea. But yeah, I guess some optimism. I'd like to wish all of our listeners and all of our viewers a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that that story made you smile. It's beautiful weather out. If you can, maybe chill out in the sun. I know probably later I might go grill in the backyard or just sit on my deck and enjoy the weather. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for having me on.
You're welcome, Ryan.
Time.
As always, totally. And we will see you again tomorrow with Kaya, Crystal, and Sabrina for the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz. And now also that Major League Baseball season is coming back. I have to remind you, the Houston Astros cheated. There we go.
No one needs to be reminded. Everyone remembers.
You're
I'm not
listening
even
to
a baseball person,
90.3.
and I know.
Oh my gosh. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Adam, cue us out. There it is.
You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey.